Unmute பண்ணி respond பண்ணலாம். I think we can unmute and respond so that I will also get excited about taking class.
Hello. So someone can unmute and answer, right? Abhishek?
Okay, let's start. Ma'am, if my screen is not visible or you're having some other issue, please let me know. Otherwise, we will continue.
Screen is visible, Jesse. Your
Okay.
presentation is.
Right. Okay. So today, like just like how we've been looking at other design of RCC elements, today we will be looking at how to do it on STAD. Okay. So what are the considerations that we are going to do before? Means while doing it on STAD is what we're going to see today, and I'll be modeling one entire small structure for you on STAD to tell you how we do it. Okay. Okay. So this is the plan of our structure that we are going to model on STAD. Okay, so it's just going to be a basic two-bedroom house that we'll be modeling. This is just a ground floor plan. Okay, right. So now on STAD, how are we going to do it? The column dimensions. First, when you see the model,
Excuse
what?
me, Jesse. Can you make it as a slideshow? Yeah, presentation.
Okay, so first, when you get this plan, what do we do when we get this plan? First, we decide where the columns have to come. Okay, where the column locations are going to be placed, where the and how we are going to plan. Okay, now we all know that the thickness of a brick wall is going to be 230, and a single layer, that is the external wall, is going to be 230, internal wall is going to be 115. So wherever you are going to design your column, you should always make sure that this is within that 230, within that thickness, because now here if you see this drawing, the thickness of the column seems a little higher. Now when at home, when you're doing this design at home, what happens, like for any of your houses or something, if there is a central column in between also, it looks like a, it doesn't look good. And if this column is going to uh, be popping out also, it is not going to look good. So always you should maintain the depth on one side to be 230, and the other side you can vary it based on your requirement. Okay, now so when it comes to column dimensions and spacing, the size of the column always depends on the number of floors it's going to support. Okay, one. Second, it's going to be the total load that is going to act, and the space between each column. Now, for instance, because this is going to be a normal building, normal house, you can provide columns in between. But what if you have to model, you have to go in for a big space, a big auditorium kind of a space, where you should not provide columns in between. So in that cases, what we will actually do is we will go ahead with deep beams, or some places we will go ahead with heavier corner columns that will take the entire load of the other beams that are there. We will sometimes provide secondary beams also. Okay, okay. So 1 to 2 storied building. In a 1 to 2 storied building, the maximum size will be 225 mm by 225 mm. It is because a small structure. Like I already told you, 225 to 230 is going to be your brick wall size. Okay, right. So often with at least what will be the dia of bar? If you see, it will be average of four number of 12 mm dia bar. M20 will be the usual grade of concrete that we will follow. Otherwise, now in recent times, we are always following M25 with FE415 or FE500 depending on availability. But what most of the market situations, FE415 is not greatly available. So we go in for FE500 also. Okay. Right, now going to a three-storied building. What happens is the minimum size becomes 300 by 300. Okay, now mostly in when it comes to structural design, we go in for 300 by 300, 400 by 400. That is completely okay. But when it comes to the aestheticity and the requirement of the local households, it's always better to stick to 225 by 300, or 225 by 500, or 225 by 600, and so on and so forth. When as the height of the building keeps increasing, the minimum size also increases. Okay, now the spacing. Okay, so the spacing, the distance for any column, the standard distance should be ideally 4 meters. Okay, it should not be more than 4 meters. If you can keep it somewhere between 2.5 to 4 meters, it is completely okay. Okay, so now for larger spans, what you do is, if the larger distance between the column is required, the column size must be increased accordingly. Okay, now the alignment of the column should be arranged in a rectangular grid for proper load transfer. Now, based on requirement, yes, we can definitely modify the alignment of the column, the location of the column, and other things. But in most of the situations, we should make sure to arrange it in a proper rectangular grid format, so that there is proper load transfer and for structural integrity. Okay, then going to beam dimensions. Now, beam dimensions and spacing, the depth of the beam is the most important dimension for resisting the bending and deflection. Yes, that we all know. So the common rule of the thumb rule, there is one specific thumb rule that usually we follow, but as engineers, as structural designers, you should actually design and see if it is passing, and then only proceed. But there is a thumb rule initially. First, for maintaining the, means for modeling, you take a this thing. What you usually do is, the minimum overall depth of this thing will be the overall length of the beam divided by 12 to overall length of the beam divided by 15. This is the safe starting point for residential buildings for a 4-meter span. So now what would be the depth would be approximately 267 to 333. Okay, use a minimum. Just give me a minute. Sorry. Okay, so the depth, so as we already saw, for a 4-meter span, the depth of the beam should be approximately somewhere between 200 to 350. 250 to 350 is what you usually use for a minimum of 300 mm. Okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to the depth of the cantilever. Now, in most of the situations, where do you use a cantilever? Cantilever beams are usually used in the sunshades. In some places, for aesthetic purpose, they leave a balcony outside. All around the building, they leave a balcony. So when they leave a balcony, you cannot give a column on the edge, and you cannot give a block wall on the edge. So what you naturally tend to do is, you complete the column somewhere before the end of the entire layout of the house, and then you give cantilever beams there. Okay, so now ideally the depth of the cantilever should be at least span by 10. Okay, span by 10 in a what will it be like? If it's going to be a 2-meter beam, 2 by 10 is what is going to be your consideration. 2 meter na 2000 by 10, 200 mm should be minimum depth, but you should maintain it between 250 average. Okay, now the beam's width is typically half of its depth, or it is determined by width of the wall it is going to support. Okay, Then coming to the spacing. Now spacing one, the beam spacing is typically 3 to 5 meters depending on the design load and the structural layout. Now for heavier loads, what happens is the beam depth and the width will naturally increase. Now going to slab thickness. Slab thickness one, the for based on the support condition only, the thickness of the slab is going to vary. Okay. Now for simply supported beam, the minimum thickness will be span by 20. For a one end continuous, that is one end is means other ends are fixed, but one end is going to be continuous. So in that case, the minimum thickness is going to be span by 24. Okay, now both ends are going to be continuous. In that case, what happens is the minimum thickness is span by 28. Okay, so cantilever slabs, the minimum thickness of the span will be span by 10 with a maximum overhang of 4 times the slab depth. Right. So to design if to see if the structure is both safe and functional, structural engineers, what we do is actually we give multiple load combinations for the basic design criteria. Okay, two important design criteria. One is the strength criteria. The other one is serviceability. So strength, what do we call it? We call it the ultimate limit state. Okay, what happens is ultimate limit state, the design must ensure that the structure will not collapse under extreme load cases. Okay, so that is the design must not collapse. Okay, so that is why you design it for strength. Now when it comes to serviceability, what you do, the design must ensure that the structure performs adequately under normal everyday loads without causing any discomfort or damage. Okay, now what is serviceability and what is strength? In normal terms, if I say, if there is going to be an earthquake, if there's going to be a landslide, what actually happens? You have to design it in such a way that that earthquake or the settlement of this thing does not lead to any breakage or other things to your structure. Okay, now when it comes to serviceability, the design must ensure that the structure performs under everyday condition. Now what if suddenly above my head there is a beam, okay, that can fall and break or something like that? Is it going to keep me happy in that place, or I will be under a constant trauma that it might anytime fall? So that is why we design it for serviceability. Okay, so now the different there are key differences in the load combinations for these two criteria, and the load factors are also different. Okay, now normally it is going to be dead load, live load, wind load. Okay, now the strength check also, here we use higher load factors to account for uncertainties and provide a margin of safety against collapse. Okay, now when it comes to serviceability check, we use a lower load factor because they are based on expected and not extreme loading. Okay, now the basic load cases we know. So now the common building codes are ACE 7, American Society of Civil Engineers, or we follow the IS 456. Okay, now for exam purpose or for Indian this related stuff, I am explaining IS code only for you. Okay, now we have a dead load, we have live load, we have wind load, and we have earthquake load. Now what is a dead load? Dead load is going to be the permanent weight of the structure that is not going to change at any point. But what is live load? Live load is going to be the movable load for occupants, furnitures, and other things. The wind load, you know, the load of wind that is going to hit your structure. Now, if you see most of the cases in Chennai and other places, all these houses are actually very closely constructed. In those cases, we will not have to consider wind load. But if you're going to build a taller structure, like anything over 10 meter or something like that, 10 to 20 meters, anything over that, it is always advisable to design the structure with wind load. Okay, right. So the load combination for strength. These combinations use factored load to test the structure's ability to resist failure from events like collapse, buckling, or overturning. Okay. Okay. Now 1.4D. This combination will be used to check if the structural members for the effect of permanent dead load alone. Okay, with a safety factor of 1.4. The other combination is 1.2 dead load plus 1.6 live load plus zero point 0.5 wind or earthquake. Okay. The similar cases, this combination, the next case will be for worst case scenario, including wind load with a higher factor than the accompanying live load. The final combination is used to check for overturning or uplift, okay, caused by wind. A smaller factor on the dead load is used. Why? Because the lower permanent weight provides a very less resistance to uplift. Okay. Okay. Now going to serviceability combinations. Now this combination here you use an unfactored load of one only when there is no factor of safety for serviceability condition. Only for strength you consider a factored load. Okay. So here it is always either one or less than one, the actual load or a little lesser. Okay, so here what are we doing? We're directly taking dead load plus live load, or you're taking a combination of dead load plus a lesser live load with wind or earthquake, whichever is maximum. Okay, now example of applying load combination. Now here you have a concrete floor slab in an office building. Okay, so to determine the required reinforcement, what we will do is the worst case. See, from here, what is the worst case? We are considering 1.2 dead load plus 1.6 live load. That is the worst case. Okay. So the factored load from this combination is used to calculate maximum bending moment and shear force the slab is going to experience. Now, the design must ensure the slab has strength to resist these ultimate forces without collapsing. Okay, so that is our motto. It should not collapse, it should take the entire strength. Okay, now for serviceability, what we do, just like I told you, we take an unfactored load. Now this is calculated. Now the deflection is compared to code specific limits. What does the code say? Code says that any structural element should have a span by 240. That is the maximum limit up to which it can allow for deflection. What is it? Span by 240. Okay, now if the deflection is greater than this limit, then the design must be changed, okay, by increasing the slab thickness or the depth to meet your serviceability requirements. Okay, but even if it already passes on your strength, you have to, if this deflection check is not done, if it is not passing, you have to revise your slab thickness. Okay, right. Now I think we can. Okay. So we will open STAD and see how we are going to model it here. Okay. Okay. So new. We are going to take metric. Why metric? Because we need it in meters. We need everything in meters and not in feet. So that is why we are going here. We will take the analytical type and we will create. Okay. Okay. So this is our plan. 24 feet by 25 feet. 24 feet is average. It is going to be 7.3 meters and 7.6 meters. Okay. So now we are having a column here in between. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns. Okay. So now here, because there is a glass, they have moved it here, but we can actually place this column here. That is how we are going to do our model. Okay. For your better understanding. Okay. Now external walls will be 230, 225 to 230. Internal walls will just be partition walls and we will provide around 115 there. Okay. Right. So here Go to structural wizard. We will take frame model, floor grid. Length of the floor will be center to center. We will consider 7.2, sorry, 7.5, and width will be 7.2. Number of bays will be 2. Number of bays will be 2. Apply it here. We give OK. Yes. Now here, how are we going to paste it? We are going to paste it at 0, 0, 0. Okay. Right. So now this is done. Now what we will do is, we have to now, this is the basic plinth beam. Okay. So now what we will do is, we will select this, Control C, Control V. I want foundation at 1.5 meter below ground. So I will give 1.5 meter below ground. And I will say OK. Let us now check the node to node distance. It is correct. Okay. Now we will remove node to node. What we will do now is, we are going to Control C, Control V. I want at 3 meter above the ground. That is going to be my roof beam. Okay. So this is done. Okay. So now what I will do is, I am going to add columns. We need columns, right? Geometry, add beam. I'm adding. Okay. So now my this thing is ready. So what I will do is, now I don't need this beam below. So I am deleting those beams. Now this is how our structure looks. Okay. So now we have beams here. Okay. So now after this, what are we going to do? We will check node to node. Okay. So now we have to give material specification. The geometry is done. Now we will give properties. Okay. So for properties, first before that, we have to go and geometry. We will create groups. Okay. So this is going to be your roof slab. No, roof beam. Roof beam is a beam. So associated selected geometry. Now what we will do, this will be plinth beam. This will be columns. Associate. This will be columns. below ground beam. Okay, associate. Okay, now that we have given, so this is going to be easy for us now. So what we will do is we will select group roof beam. We will add rectangular. We want rectangular details. So like I already told you, roof beam will be 230 by 230. Add and then assign to selected beam. Okay, it is now assigned. We will select plinth beam. Plinth beam we will add. Plinth beam we will give 230 by 300. YD will be 300 and this will be 230. Add, assign. Now here also, okay, close. Okay, now what is remaining? Columns above ground. Again, we will give column will be 300, 330. Assign. Rectangular 230, 300. Assign. Okay, so we have given properties. Now let's go to material. This is entirely going to be concrete. So we will give assign to view. Yes. Okay. So assign to view, assign to selected beams. I think you know where and how to use it. Are you all clear about that concept? Or is there any clarifications that you need regarding this? Is there any clarifications up to here? I will wait for 2 minutes. It's okay. Okay. Now we will give specifications. Now here, because all these columns are actually connected to a column, because all these beams are connected to a column, we cannot, we, it is a fixed condition here. What if there is a going to be a beam here in between, a secondary beam that is going to run between beams? So in that case, what we will do is we will release the moments here. Okay, right, let's go to support. We will create, we want fixed, we will assign. We have got a fixed load here. Okay, going to loading. This is the important part here. Okay, okay, so can someone tell me what are the loads that we will be applying here? Okay. So what are the loads that we are going to consider here? Can come and someone tell me? Can someone tell me what are the loads?
Please unmute and answer. What are the loads that will come on a structure? Yes? Yes, live load. Jitendra has answered as live load. Then only live load. Live load, seismic load, dead load, wind load. So they're answering in chat box, Jesse.
Or is it? Okay. Fine. Now in this structure, what are the specific loads? Dead load, I understand. Live load, I understand. Seismic and wind, I understand. But in this specific structure, this is going to be a house. So what are the dead loads that will come? Can someone say? Column, slab, beam, footing. Idella elements. What is this? What are the loads? How will I, okay, there's load, column load, the slab load, the beam load, the footing load. Okay, but what is it called? There are some terms that we saw, right? Okay, fine. So that is going to be self weight first. Correct? Correct? First will be self weight. Then block work. Block work will have internal and external block work. Correct? Then parapet wall. Am I right? Okay. So now let's apply self weight. Load case la add dead D add live L add. Going here, I will add first self weight. Self weight is always be -1. Then what will I do? Member load. Member load la uniform load along Y. I am adding 24 minus 24.3. Add. How did I get 24.3? Can someone tell me? How did I get 24.3? I want you to definitely answer. Make an effort. I will wait till you come up with something. I will wait. How did I get 24.3? Use the chat box to reply, children. Nobody's planning to reply. I just told you that we will be calculating all the loads. So now load external wall load. What is the load? Wall thickness will be 230 into unit weight into height of the floor, 3 meters. This will be, can someone multiply and give me the answer? Hello, are you there? I will wait till all of you give me the answer. I have not given you a big task. I've just asked you to multiply and give me a result. Nobody will reply, huh? Satya, ma'am?
Hello.
Ah, ma'am. Ma'am, I've given them a small task to do. I've told them to multiply and tell me what is the answer. But nobody has replied. I'm just waiting for their reply so I can proceed
So
further.
someone, at least you answer in the chat box.
So now with this, can someone help me calculate the internal wall load? That will be 0.125 into 20 into height. What is this? For parapet also? Okay, so can you add and tell me what it is overall? Very good. So now you all understood how I got this 24.3. Okay, so now tell me where this load is going to come. Where this. Okay, one second. My screen will not be visible, I think. Just a minute. Okay, so I think now you all would have understood how we got this. Now, where is this load going to come? Where is this load going to come? Sherry. Now, floor load. Okay. Now, floor load also we will add on stand. Right. So, we will go to dead load. We will add floor load. Floor load as per IS 456 for normal buildings, it is going to be 1 kilonewton per meter square to 2 kilonewton per meter square. So, we will take 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. Now we have to give a range. Range on what basis we will give? We will give on the floor. Okay, so it is from 0 to, we will check that, select node to node distance. Okay, so it will be from 0 to node cursor. This point is, okay, so this is going to be from 0 to 4.5. Okay, right. So it will be add floor load 1.5 kilonewton per meter square, 0 to 4.5, add and close. Now we will go to live load. Live load will be a pressure of minus 2. Why? Because what is live load? All the movable loads will come under live load. Correct. So all your movables will come under live load. That will be people, sofa, your chair, your dining table, and everything other than that will come under your floor load. Okay, so now that will come under your live load. Okay, so live load will be floor load, pressure of minus 2 kilonewton from 0 to 4.5, add, close. Now what will happen is self weight. We have to apply the self weight. Now self weight is going to come on assign to view. Okay, now this floor load, this is going to come on your select parallel to x, parallel to z. Correct, all your beams, this is going to come. So assign to selected beams. Yes. Now your floor load, where is your floor load going to come? Your floor load is going to come on, you select this parallel to x, parallel to z. We will, okay, so this is already applied. Now this also is on all the floors, it will automatically apply. Okay, so that is done. Now all your loads have been taken care. Now let's go to analysis. Now, okay, so before that we have to select load combinations. So add automatic load generator. We will go and select IS, generate loads, add, close. So how is it added? 1.5 dead load plus 1.5 live load. Then it is 1.2 dead load, 1.2 dead load. Your next combination is only your 1.5 times dead load. Your other last combination is going to be 0.9 times your dead load. Okay, got it? So now we are going to analyze the structure. Analysis. Now this analysis is going to be concrete analysis. Okay, so you go to here concrete, you select, go and select your codes. Now before that there is something we wanted to check. Just give me a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, so now we will check once if there are any orphan nodes. Not there. Now we have to check for duplicate nodes. So that we don't have any duplicate nodes. Now we have to check for duplicate beams. Nothing. To check for nothing. Okay. So now we will go to our missing property. Anywhere is there a missing property? Have we assigned all the properties? We have to now check. So we have provided the properties for everything. Now property name not required. Now what we will do is we will go display. We will check the 3D rendering view. Okay, so this is how your 3D of the structure looks like. Okay, so it is fully resting. But do you see something? This column and this column have a different structure. So we will see properties. 230 by 300. Okay. Now we will check our 3D rendering. So now if you see, it looks like a straight structure. Correct. So now what will happen is the transfer of load is going to happen properly and uniform. Okay. Okay, done. So now what we will do is we will go to analysis. Analysis, concrete analysis. Okay. The first we will select IS 456. Define parameters. What are the parameters we have to define now? FC, compressive strength of concrete. So FE 415 we will take 415 00 415 add. Then we will give FY main. That will also be 415 000. Then we have to assign shear reinforcement. So 415. Then we will go to maximum main rebar. We can go up to 20. Now here is a small structure. So maximum secondary beam, add maximum main, add 5 parameters we are adding. So FY main we have added, FY secondary also we have to add. Now you will select this, assign to view, assign, yes. 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 End concrete design. Okay, right. Now, can someone tell me in the chat box why I am assigning all these parameters to the entire view? Why am I not assigning it to only beams and columns? Can someone tell me in the chat box? Can someone tell me in the chat box why I have assigned it to the entire structure? Every element has same diameter and grade reinforcement. No, 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 no. Why not every element have the same diameter? Diameter and all has nothing to do with it. But now the entire structure, okay, where is it? Good, huh, Jitendra? Good, good that you took this thing to reply. Okay. Now here, if you see for the entire structure, what is the grade of concrete? Is that going to change for any of the elements? No. So that is why I have assigned it to the entire structure. And for all structural elements, I want maximum secondary reinforcement to be maximum of 12 dia, and for all structural elements I want the main rebar to not exceed 16 dia. Okay, so that is why I have given this. Okay, right. So now our analysis is over. Moving on to design. Design also, concrete design. Here it will be commands, design beam, add, design column, add, take off, add, close. Now tell me, this design beam command I will give for assign to view or selected view. Can someone tell me? Design beam command will I give for assign to view, or I will give only for a specific element? How will I do it? A very logical question, and I expect a reply. Assign to selected element. Okay. So beam design I will give for beam, column design I will give for column. Correct? Okay. So now I will close this. So design view I will go and select parallel to X, parallel to Z. Now I've selected all. I will give assign. Now column will be parallel to Y, assign to selected objects, assign. Concrete take and okay. So now what I will do is I will save and I will run my analysis. So it is saying one error, one warning. We will check what is that one error and what is the one warning. Load case number 6. Check spelling. Start concrete design. Check result carefully. Okay. Design la concrete design. Start concrete design. Take off. Commands. Okay. Why is there an error? One week. Please note that depending on the shape. Okay. So what we will do now is we will okay. So some server error. Utilities. Okay. Design. Design. What is the issue? Loading. Okay. Load envelope. Here the live loads are assigned dead loads. Correct only. Right. So now what I will do is some error in the model, but okay, doesn't matter. I will So there are some problems like this that will happen if you have to design it on STAD. So that is why we use an alternate software called RCDC. We will only model it on STAD. Yes, Tendril Arissa, you've raised your hand.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, after the ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் முடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க லோட் அசைன் பண்ணீங்கல்ல மேம்
Amma.
மேம் அதில் வந்து கான்கிரீட்டோட ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வந்து நீங்க 415 சம்திங் போட்டிருக்கீங்க மேம். ஸ்டீலோடது எப்படி மேம் கான்கிரீட் ஒரு ஈல்டு ஸ்ட்ரென்த்?
இல்லையே, ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருங்க. Let me check. டிசைன்ல சொல்றீங்களா லோட்லயா?
லோட் மேம் ஆஃப்டர் கான்கிரீட் அனலைசிஸ் கொடுத்தீங்கல்ல மேம்.
Let me check 1 minute.
Okay.
Designல concrete. Oh, sorry. 25 45.
ஃபார்மேட்ஸ் அனலைசிஸ் மேம் எனக்கு ஒர்க் ஆகுது மேம்.
Sorry.
எனக்கு ஒர்க் ஆகுது மேம். நீங்க சொன்ன ப்ரொசீஜர் போட்டேன் மேம்.
Okay.
அனலைசிஸ் ரன் ஆகிடுச்சு மேம். நோ எரர்
Okay.
வருது.
Very nice. So correct, it will be assigned to view. Concrete designer. Command add take off, add close design, select parallel to X, parallel to Z, sign to Y, sign. There is some error that I am facing. I am not able to understand why. You followed the same step that I did, le?
எஸ் மேம். எஸ் மேம்.
I don't know. Some error I'm facing. I don't know why this error is there. Concrete IS தான் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கேன். I don't know. Still, I'm facing some error. Anyways, I will open another model and I'll show you how we design. Taking a lot of time. I think. So I'm facing some network glitch actually. I'm not able to because it's connected to the server. I think I'm facing some trouble. I'm not able to open any STAD file. Sherry. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so now this is another small structure. Okay, now here we will go and see our displacements. See how your structure is going to get displaced. So in the maximum relative displacement port, we will check load by 240. So it should be less than your span. So I think it's all less than one very, very small displacement. So it is safe. Now we will check our deflection. Okay. Right. Utilization ratio will be result setup. Your range will be for your group roof. Apply okay. Summary. Okay. So utilization ratio is also, this is nodal displacement. This is your beam relative displacement. So it is all very, very low. So this is safe. Okay. Now going to, so we will select only the bottom nodes to check if your okay. So now we are going to okay. Okay. So now going to advanced concrete design. Go to post processing. Okay. Now advanced concrete design. So this is one software called RCDC, reinforced concrete design. Okay. So here we will go and select footing, create project. So now this will read the entire this thing model based on your load cases, your load combinations and other things. So there are certain inputs that you have to give here. Okay, that will be your general design. So F M25 FE415 clear cover, all this you will give, and then it will take Automatica factored load. It will take, you will take average pressure here because and then your founding depth will be at 1.5 meter. Water table engume illa, so somewhere below 10 you will take. You will give okay, and then you will go give auto design, because this model is done for all these wind and seismic loads. We will use all this and give okay, but in our case we have taken only, so design add from analysis has taken all the, see, up to 1.5 will take for design. Only factored loads it will take for design. One will go for the dimensions. So add from analysis, all ones will be taken here. Give okay. It will give design and give you the dimension of your column and your footing. It will also tell you how much rebar you can provide. Got it? So from here, if you take, you can take the reports also. It will give you detailed drawing. All footings, give okay. It will tell you what is the dimension of your column, the spacing, everything. Now report, if you go and ask for BOQ, it will tell you BOQ summary. So it will tell you what is the quantity of concrete, how much steel you have taken, all the BOQ for shuttering and other things, it will calculate and give you. So this is software is called RCDC. So this is one. So this is for footing we have done. Now similarly, we will go and check for columns. RCDC accept column create project. Okay, so the cover used is for column we take 50, for beam it is this. So we go give auto design, select all of this, move here, give OK, add from analysis. So now it will tell you what is the main rebar for the column, what is this, and how to go about it. Okay, now columns. So design input வந்து இதுதான், design output is this. So you go take your, so here you can take your design calculation. We will take for one column and see how it has calculated. Okay, now see, it will take the load, it will take the height of each story. Now coming to the column, so we are designing it for a non-ductile column because it is a small column. Okay, right. So column order dimension on the 230 by 400, clear cover 50, height of floor, number of floors irukku, unbraced we have taken, we are not bracing any column here, bracing mostly comes in steel elements only. Okay, so after this it will calculate the beam sizes and your beam stiffness. Now coming to our slenderness ratio check, L by B. L by B வந்து should be less than 60. So it is okay. Unbraced, so effective length factor L by B, again slenderness ratio you are checking, it has to be 3.94. So column is not slender, so it is passing there also. Okay, so with all this being considered, you finally get a so now shear strength you have to calculate. Like that day I told you, you have a formula 1 plus 3 into pu into bd into fck. So based on your vu into b into this thing, that is your tv, this is your code from your code book. It is given formulas, it is intaking your formulas and is calculating the tc. So based on that you calculate this, and then your tv should be less than your tc into your enhancement factor. Your enhancement factor is provided already. So based on that you design, and your the spacing required is 225. So this is how we do the design for all the elements. Okay, slab mattu what we do is we have a sheet. This is the typical slab sheet. So thickness you are giving concrete is going to be here, in our case 25, steel is going to be this, sunken depthing and நம்ம follow பண்ணல, so we are giving a 0 here. Then we have dead load. This is self weight, it is calculating. Live load in our case we have taken 2 kilonewton. Finished load also we are taking this. Okay, this we will not take. Our (24 kilonewton). So overall it is calculating the load, moment and everything, and it is saying your thickness is okay. If I'm going to give a 100 thick slab, so it is saying thickness check, I have to still increase, it is not okay. So if I give 125, what is happening? It is saying thickness is okay. Okay, so based on that AST and other things I will calculate, and your spacing also we will arrive here. We have actually made sheets like this, so by using these sheets our life becomes easy. Okay. Any doubts? Any doubts?
Students, if you have any doubts, okay, Jesse. I'll share the assessment to the students.
Okay.
Which you have shared it with me. I'll share this assessment to the students, and I'll let you know the answers
Okay,
from the
ma'am.
students. Yeah.
So can I leave?
Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for
Thank
spending your
you.
time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you.